Greetings, programs. I'm Jacko, and this is the Gamification, my show where we can get together as fellow geekazoids and talk about all the things happening in games, movies, animation, what have you. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a returning guest, have you learnt nothing? I'm going to change things around, and we'll start at the beginning with my first segment I'd like to call New News is Good News. First up, we got announcements first before the actual news. Hooray, at last! New game release announcements. First off, finally, Spider-Man. Marvel Spider-Man on the PS4 is coming out on September 7th. Yes! I'm very excited for this game. The animation looks fantastic. The mechanics look really fun. If you played Spider-Man 2 on PS2, I believe. Yeah, a lot of people like that, and that was very fun. I only played the first one, but I enjoyed that enough as it was, but even though it was kind of crappy. But this one looks amazing. A whole new story, new characters. Yeah, get hyped. That's all I've got to say about that. Another one that we're all hoping for, and we're kind of expecting since the Crash Insane trilogy that came out, where they rebuilt everything from the ground up. Well, not everything, but they used the same mechanics, same kind of control system, but it was all new 4K, as they call it, wasn't it? We're all expecting this to come out almost straight after, and that is Spyro the Dragon. Spyro Reignited Trilogy for the PS4, Xbox One has been announced, and they had, I think, if you go on the GameSpot, they have a side-by-side comparison of the original games and the new version from the trailer, and looks delish. That's coming out in September as well, so get excited for those two new games. Alright, so we'll go with the first official news item. So recently, or within the last couple of years, Ubisoft has kind of been under attack. Not in a public sense, but it's more of a financial sense. Like they were trying to get bought out by this company called Vivendi. But at last, Ubisoft have won out, and which is awesome because we're all like, oh no, what's going to happen? Because they put out good games, you know, despite mechanical discrepancies. How do you say that word? Discrepancies? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they've been very fun. A lot of new open world experiences, different genres that they're doing. What's the newest one that they just announced? Beyond Good and Evil, the prequel one. It's like anyway. So to show people that, hey, we're back in business, Ubisoft is opening yet another Canadian studio. Yay! In addition to its locations, this is from gamesindustry.biz as well. In addition to its locations in Montreal, Quebec City, sorry if I mispronounce this, Saguenay, Toronto, and Halifax, the company will soon have its westernmost outpost in the country yet with the establishment of Ubisoft Winnipeg. They made a statement for the reason for the new studio opening. This is from quoting the new managing director of that new studio, Daryl Long. Quote, "There's a very specific and complementary mandate for the studio, which is that we want to contribute to the development of the big AAA brands like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Watch Dogs, specifically in the area of building open worlds," he said. "Our goal in Winnipeg is to do the research and development on the processes, the pipeline, and the tools to put the investment into making them as efficient as possible, and ultimately increase the quality of the open worlds we're producing for our games. So we'll be working hand in hand with the other Canadian studios to develop their AAA brands and specifically their open worlds." End quote. With that goal in mind, Ubisoft Winnipeg is expected to grow to a headcount of 100 people within 5 years, representing an investment of $35 million in the province. Long, Darrell Long expects some of those people to have stories similar to his. Game developers who left the region to follow their career dreams, but now have prospects to work in big titles while moving closer to home. A considerable number of the rest, he hopes, will be young developers who never have to choose between leaving home and working in games. Yeah, with the actual locations, it can be annoying to get into games development where you have to go to places like I don't know, LA, San Francisco. There's not a whole lot up on the East Coast either, and over here in Australia, you forget about it, mate. We're trying again, but it's not looking good. So yeah, to be able to move, but get places closer to home, especially up in Canada. That's good, and to show Ubisoft showing their strengths once again, going, hey, we're not out of this business. We're probably only just getting started. Where to bring even more studios into the fold, and to say, hey, we've got this one studio that's specifically working on the tools to help streamline some of the production. I reckon that's a really good idea. Because creating assets for games takes a lot longer than you would think. Animation, art, music. It's a full blown production. It's like game production is multi-million-dollar production. I keep saying that word. So of course, to spread the workload is a really good idea. News number 2. It's not really much of a news story, but I put it in there anyway. I just put the heading, Nintendo gets anime? On the Nintendo Switch Reddit, there was a post that mentions that Funimation is now putting their anime streaming service, Funimation Now, onto the Nintendo Switch. And they haven't really mentioned any release date. But that's cool. It's just another place to see it, and with that screen. So the screen's about that size. It's pretty good to be for a mobile screen support, where you go around, you go to the airport, you've got the only device you have is your Switch or whatever. You can watch anime on that. It's a good size for it. So the app's already on PS3, PS4. 360, Xbox One, Android, and iOS. Speaking of anime, it's the 20th anniversary of Cowboy Bebop. Oh my god. Let me tell you something. Cowboy Bebop is one of the seminal pieces of anime. And if you haven't seen it yet, I definitely recommend it. Go see Cowboy Bebop. It's like a spaghetti western, sci-fi, post-apocalyptic, like Earth is kind of post-apocalyptic, so they kind of moved on to other areas of space. Very noir style, as well. Melodramatic, if you like that stuff. Comedy as well, and it's just so good. So definitely go watch Cowboy Bebop if you haven't. News story number 3. New DLC for Final Fantasy 15. Yeah! This is at GameSpot.com. Square Enix had previously teased that Final Fantasy 15 will continue to expand with new DLC episodes this year. We've now learned that the company has in mind for those additions, but they're unfortunately not coming as soon as expected. A total of 4 more episodes are on the way, though they won't arrive until sometime in 2019. The news was shared during a panel at PAX East. Like past episodes, each one will center around a specific character. And the characters in these ones are Arden, Aranea, Luna, and Noctis. The last one is the most notable of the bunch, as it will explore the story of his final battle. Okay, so I'll just quickly say, I saw a screenshot from the Gamers Joint, Jared, on Twitter. And he does a lot of Kingdom Hearts stuff primarily, but he played Final Fantasy 15 as well. And he went to this PAX panel, and he put up it was kind of like a projected timeline of when some of this content's coming out. And from what I saw, it was spring, summer 2019. So over here it'd be winter, autumn. So first quarter, no, sorry, first half of 2019, we'll probably be seeing most of those episodes. Um, okay, so I'll read out the rest of like what the episodes are, but I just want to say spoiler alert if you haven't played the game and you want to play the game, or if you haven't finished it. Yeah, definitely it goes to heavy spoilers here. So just mute it for the time being. Episode 1, Arden, The Conflict of the Sage. This story portrays the struggles of Arden. Witness the resentment he harbored towards Lucius for over 2,000 years and his clashes with the Astrals. Episode Side Story, Aranea. The Beginning of the End. A side story about the Star Scourge, depicted from the Niflheim's perspective. The final day of the Empire turned out to be Aranea's worst day. Episode 2, Luna Freya, The Choice of Freedom. This story is about Luna's fate, which not even death can free her from. Her battle to save the one she loves overturns the destiny dealt to the Lucian King. Episode 3, Noctis, The Final Strike. Parting ways with the Astrals, Noctis embarks on his final battle in order to attain the ideal future for his people. News number 4. Sea of Thieves to get some big fixes after Rare got bombarded by Broadside. Holy moly. And by Broadside do I mean the players were not happy. Surprise, surprise. This is from Polygon. Rare is beginning to address some of Sea of Thieves players' biggest complaints, as the developer detailed in a blog post about their top feedback points. And to players' appreciation, the highest priority changes to come sound pretty good. As with everything on Sea of Thieves, we will make changes, get them out to players and assess how effective they are, using feedback and data to decide whether we need to take more steps, wrote executive producer Joe Niate. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Introducing a list of players' most common issues and how the team plans to address them. These issues include putting an end to brig abuse, a widespread problem that's ruined the experience for many players. While players have been throwing each other into the brig since the game's alpha phase, Sea of Thieves' launch has led to even more pirates getting locked up and thrown out of the crew so that the players can swap in someone else instead. The reason this happens is because players have yet to be able to form private crews, Rare explained. A key change we are working on is to allow players to select whether they want their ship to be open to others being match-made with them, or closed so that it's invite only, Niate said. Sorry again. Neat? I don't know. This will allow players to manage how many people they want on their ship, invite friends and decide whether or not to allow other players to join them. We hope this mitigates one of the key reasons for people misusing the brig. An update will... Okay, so that's the end quote part. An update will also change the minimum number of players required to form a crew, instead of needing 4 people to fill a party. Pardon me. Which can lead 3 friends to dump a 4th to find someone they'd rather sail with. Rare will allow for smaller or larger groups. In addition, the developer says working on improving the game's matchmaking so that players who opt into voice chat, another problem with Sea of Thieves, as several people find themselves as the only one on mic during play, can be paired up with others willing to chat. Rare maintains that Sea of Thieves is meant to be an evolving experience with further content to be introduced to fill in gaps with some players already already tired of. With these changes top of the list, however, Niat said that Niet. I'm sorry. It's just I want to say Niet. I don't think it's Russian. Niet said that Res tweaking the roadmap for development in the coming months. Game development never ends nowadays, especially when it comes out on digital, when they have the ability to just patch it day one or continually work on it after it's been released. I don't see, like, I know it's annoying, like, you buy a $60, over here, like, $80 to $100 game, and you think you want it to run, you want to have it to run just like it did in the old days, except games in the old days were not always perfection, were they? We had bugs. We found loops and things to able to break the game. Like in Mario 64, people speed running through the little glitches. It's not a perfectly made game, but it's still like games are solid either way. They all at one point or another they will work. It's not gonna. They're not gonna. Especially a AAA game like this, people are not going to get a completely broken game or a completely unfinished game. It's sure there's little things that happen, but that make the experience less than the players are wanting it. But hey, that's the case nowadays. Honestly, it's good that they're fixing things and they actually listen to people, people's issues. Can't say more to that. News number 5. Do you? I'm not. It's hard to say. Do you remember the last Starfighter? If you do, you're as old as I am, and it could be coming back. There's talks on Twitter. Rogue One and Book of Eli screenwriter Gary Whitta just dropped a huge bombshell. He's working with Jonathan Bitul. Sorry, Bitul? Yeah, the writer of The Last Starfighter, to finally try and reboot it for the big screen. They reached out. Sorry, I don't know where I got this from. But they reached out to us like, "Hey, what's going on? Is this real? Are you serious?" Because Gary Whitta just kind of casually put out on his Twitter account, "Hey guys, check out what I'm doing." Just a little something, something. So they talked to him and he's like, "Well, why?" Well, well, the movie's great, obviously, and a lot of people light up when they talk about it, but also it just hits home for him. So and they asked, what was now the right time to bring it back? And Woody said, the simple answer is Jonathan Bitul. John created and wrote the original movie. It was all his idea. A spec script he wrote while he was working as a waiter in Hollywood in the early 80s. There was a whole bidding war over the script. In all the years hence, whenever I've brought up the idea of the stuff I reboot in meetings, people would always convey excitement. They say it's impossible because of the rights are a mess. There was talk about that where it's all over the shop, not any one person or any one company. Like, not one studio owns the rights to The Last Starfighter. But because the writer, John Bitul, does own a portion of those rights for the IP, they actually have the go-ahead to try and make the movie at least. And from what Gary was talking about, they've actually taken it to Universal at least, and some other places, to see if there's any interest. And there hasn't been much at the moment, from what I can gather, but let's try and get that going. Also, Gary got the concept artist or the artist from Rogue One, right, to draw up some sketches and just some ideas to help pitch their movie to the studios and stuff. He's actually put the work on his Twitter account at Gary Whitta. So if you want to check that out and see what the movie could be like, it's looking pretty good so far. So yeah, give it a go. Now we'll move on to Game Chat, working title. If you've got a better title, please let me know. I love to hear it. We'll start with what's games have come out this week. Yeah, that sounds alright. Yeah, I think so. Starting off, Dead Ahead Zombie Warfare on Xbox One. Crazy Maze on PC. Neo Geo The King of Fighters 99. Xbox One, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. The World of Tanks War Stories. Hang on. I'll read that again. World of Tanks War Stories. Xbox One. Did that sound alright? It sounds horrible, I'm sorry. Zombilly. Nintendo Switch. Octocopter. Double or Squids. Nintendo Switch. Johnny Turbo's Arcade. Bad Dudes. Nintendo Switch. Impact Winter. PS4 and Xbox One. Pinball FX3. Bethesda. Pinball. Nintendo Switch. Raiders of the Broken Planet. Hades Betrayal. PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Metropolis Lux Obscura. Also, you can also translate it into like City in Shadow. That sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Let me know if it sounds cool. City in Shadow. That's on Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Vita. Vita lives! The Witch and the 100 Knight 2. So that's The Witch and the 100 Knight 2. That's on PS4. Penny Punching Princess on the Nintendo Switch and the Vita. Simon the Sorcerer 1 and 2, which is the 25th anniversary edition. That is on PC. And Minute on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. So I'm not doing a review of any games this week because I'm still wrapped up in Mario Odyssey. God, I love that game. I just finished the main campaign, I guess you could call it. The main quest, and then you go back and collect more moons, which is really fun because you get new areas that open up after the main story. It's just to be able to explore in that colourful environment. Very fun. And very calming as well. It's like you can sit back and relax and you don't have to stress about it. You don't have to stress about lives because when you die, you only lose 10 coins. So yeah, that's a game I'm always gonna recommend. But at the moment, I'm not playing anything. I'm tossing up between Fortnite Battle Royale or I want to try out. What's that demo one called? Project Octopath Traveler, which is just now Octopath Traveler officially. So I want to try that out because apparently it's very Final Fantasy-esque. And I'm gonna put excuse me. I'm putting a poll on Twitter as well, so if you want to help me out with that, that'd be great. So that's all from me today, guys. Thanks for sticking around for as long as you have. If you want to continue watching what's going to happen in this space in the future, or if you want to just talk to me, because I need friends. But just talk about games, all the new stuff, movies. What movies are you looking forward to coming out? Infinity War, I'm definitely excited for. Let me know. You can, if you need to contact me, you can go to my Twitter, Jackosaurus, or you can email me at thegamification@outlook.com. Or just join the group with us kids. We're hanging out, having a good time, talking bit of this, bit of that. Lots of nerdy stuff going on there. Yeah, and also, I'd love it if you could like the video and subscribe to this channel. That's all for me now. See you on the other side, guys. Bye.